Welcome to Thaddeus Dawson Speaks, Liberation Through Valuation, where soul meets soil. Today we have none other than Willis Sean Nelson of them damn Nelson boys out of Louisiana. They're third generation farmers who I had the opportunity to meet a couple years ago at Mr. Tenney's Harvest Ball in North Carolina. And they've just been a real pleasure to see and witness their growth and ascension in the industry. They're third generation farmers. Their grandfather started, and his brother started off with, I believe, 40 acres. His father and his uncle took it to 400 acres, and now him and his brother farm over 4,000 acres, and that's three generations. That is exponential wealth building in their family. They're out of Louisiana. Willis is the new chair for 2026 for the National Black Growers Council. They are doing a lot of exciting things. They got a movie coming out later this year, documentary, done none other than by Queen Sugar herself, Miss Natalie Bazell, who I had the opportunity of meeting a couple of years ago. She chronicled them on the farm for quite some time. Willis will be able to tell you in more detail about that. So without further ado, them damn Nelson brothers with the lead brother, Sean Willis Nelson. Thank you for being on the show, brother.
Yeah, it's all good, Daddy. It's all good.
So just jump right in and tell us about the documentary that's upcoming with Miss Bazell.
Well, we shot it over pretty much 2 to 3 years, 2.5 years basically. It was going to end up being a little short film, just saying about the farm challenges that we was facing as young farmers, and black farmers. But all that you come back to being a farmer. No matter what age, color, gender, whatever, you come back to being a farmer. And she was able, when she came. We did most of the shooting in 23 when we had the biggest drought in history. So she was able to see the struggle of our farm, and she also saw the family life. Behind the farm is also a family. So she was with us for, like I say, roughly 3 years, and it's exciting. It was a little headache watching them. I like to do what I do. Farming is second nature to me. So we did a lot, but it was challenging trying to incorporate them in there. Slowed us down a little bit, but at the same time, it was fulfilling just to let other people to see what we do as farmers. And
what was the challenge? What was the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge was just like taking your time. As farmers, we know what we do. You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to explain to someone else what we're doing. So it's a teaching lesson. It was just an opening of letting them get side up, get here, get there, and patience is not my strong point.
Did you give them a hoe or a rake, a shovel, or something to put them to work? That's another fast way to learn.
No, that is, we deal with a lot of heavy equipment, big equipment, and I was trying to keep it safe as possible, keeping them in the right spots, but they got a little dirty. Miss Brazil, she, we gave her a lot of mess about wearing not the right attire to the field. So eventually, the crew, they got it together. They tried to get the right things. It wasn't right, but they tried to get the right things.
What you just said is really important. We place students into internships with the Forest Service, and they had no clue. They showing up in Jordans. We had to get them boots. We had to get the girls sports bras. We had to get get everybody jeans and Carhartts and different things. So showing up to be prepared to work is half the battle. I know every time I see y'all got on some boots.
Yeah, boots. Now we got some Jordans, and we still got our relaxed wear, but
you can't wear them when you're out there working.
Right. So we comfortable in boots. That's what we comfortable in, and people be like, we hear people all the time say that, you got on boots in this middle of the summer. Like, this this comfortable to us, we don't, tennis shoes, we feel a little out of place. Now we'll wear some Crocs, but most time we're going to have on some boots.
Well, at least you in the dirt. What about the brothers from New York who's always wearing Timberlands all year round?
Yeah, right, right. See, they just
They're
ain't
making a
understanding
fashion
that.
statement. You
Yeah,
doing both.
but everybody want to be country now also. So you'll see a lot of guys with the fake boots on and Carhartts. They buy more than we could buy. It's a challenge in dealing with that.
Oh, they running the price of equipment up for you.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
One of the things that I really I like for you to talk about is your family. You talked about how they got to see the family life. I think that's so important, and I always just I just enjoy the energy that you and your brothers always share, and y'all always smiling. Everybody, well, you probably smile less than anybody, but everybody else is always smiling. You always serious and intense. I can get you to smile every now and again. You crack one, but
Yeah,
you always look like you got something on your mind. You're thinking about the next move, what need to be done, how long y'all got at these events so you can get back to the farm and get things moving. And then sometimes everybody don't get to come. Somebody got to stay and watch the shop.
that's right. Well, family time is very important to us. We built our family with everything. Everything gonna come back to family, to the business, to the personal lives. It's all about family. We was raised. Now, you might not know all the brothers not married. Probably not. As of now, none of us married. The four brothers, three sisters are, but the four brothers not. But we grew up in a house. My mom and dad been married over 50 years. So and Sundays was Sunday dinner. Monday night, was we ate dinner every night together. So family is always big. We're gonna support each other with family. Don't miss a graduation, award ceremonies, none of that. And you'll see some of that in the film. Mr. Brazil was there for our kids, my son and my other brother, his two kids, high school graduation. And then you're just seeing how we just came together. Probably about 50 of us. The high school, they know we have our own section when we come because it's gonna be a lot of them damn Nelsons. It says and there's no fate. Family is the core of everything else. It's Christ's family.
I love them damn Nelsons. At one point, them damn Nelsons was like them damn Nelsons. Now, them damn Nelsons is a pride and honor for the community and a joy, and everybody want to be a part of them damn Nelsons. Can you speak on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, well, just today we at the church. I just got back from church. We had the Black History program, and to me, I don't know. We was always taught to be humble. I don't feel what I'm doing is something amazing, or nothing of the sort. I just feel like I'm a regular person from the community. But they honored us at church. I was the guest speaker there also. I don't want to talk too much about that because I feel like I'm just one of the regulars. I feel like I'm just any other person that deal in that if you know us, you know us. You don't feel we never felt that we was better than or feel that we on another level than someone else. I just feel like I'm part of everyone else.
But that's leadership and a servant leadership model at that. I know you don't like talking about yourself, but talk to us about the legacy of Nelson Family Farms and your grandfather and great uncle going from 40 acres, and then your father and uncle going to 400 acres, and now you and your brothers are now farming over 4,000 acres.
Yeah, yeah. So at my granddad and they came from Mississippi. One brother still one side of the family still over there. One brother up in went Chicago way, right outside Chicago. And my granddad came here uh, on this side, and right what you can't see right after this back window across the road. There's the first 50 acres that he put on. Was originally I think it was like 40. Then he bought the 10 next to it because we own a project. This project is not the projects that you know of, like the city projects, apartments. This right here was a project that the government gave parcels of land to uh, coming out of farming, coming out of slavery and stuff like that. Um, and he came over, they came over, granddaddy came over, had the 40, had homestead there. And my dad and his brothers, they got up to 400. But I think at they peak, they was farming around 1,000 acres. And then with discrimination laws, we know the works of that. Basically came back down to 400 acres, and that's what my daddy was for a long time. Then it came on down to about 200 acres. And that's when me and the brothers, we decided in like 2015 that we wanted to farm and that we would start farming. And from there, we started off with our first 40 acres like they did, and next year we jumped up, and just been gaining. It's been a struggle to gain land now. It's not easy, and we're not buying this land, we're leasing a lot of it. But it's been a struggle, and we making it. Now we have roughly 4,000 acres. Um, well, with the commodity prices and stuff like that, we want to just stay where we at and grow more. Be more strategic with the growth.
Well, I think you all have definitely taken it to the next level. I know Adrian is in charge of developing the cooperative model that you all are working on for young farmers, and I think that's really exciting to see uh, you all participating with other farmers from Mississippi and North Carolina and Alabama to form a cooperative to get better commodity pricing. So to see you all being strategic in how to move forward is very refreshing. Can you talk? You talked about the struggles um, of holding on to land and your dad going up to 1,000 and coming back down to 400 and being able to see that. Do you all share that with your sons and daughters on what you're actually doing and how you're doing it so they can see what it takes, and then the next generation can come along with some innovation to be able to advance it? But in order for the wealth to transfer, I believe that everybody needs to know the ups and downs and how we
Mhm.
get where we get and how we got there. And
Right.
sometimes we don't give kids enough credit because they know it's something bad going on because your mood ain't gonna be the same. And the
Mhm.
pressure. I mean, I'm not saying everything,
Yeah.
age appropriate, but to have
Yeah.
that level of exposure to protect the legacy moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said you breaking it down. Yes, you 100% correct on that. But at the same time, I don't want my kids to grow up dwelling on the past. They would know the history, but I want them to have a mindset of ain't no stopping me. It's no boundaries. It's no obstacles in my way. Basically, what I'm saying. And some people might not agree with that,
Oh,
but I want them.
I completely and totally agree with it because at the same time, when you see the obstacle, you also see the fight, struggle, and resilience to overcome the obstacles. And so then when they see it, it's not overwhelming. It's like, oh, I know if I just keep putting one foot in front of the other,
There you
it's
go.
going to happen. So for me, I've had lots of obstacles, but growing up, I worked with my dad working on houses every Saturday and Sunday of my life. And I remember uh, going back to school or during the holidays. I'd be like, man, ain't nobody else daddy making them do this. He was like,
Hmm.
last I checked, I wasn't nobody else's daddy. I'm your daddy. And this
Right.
is what we doing. And, if I got school clothes, I earned my school clothes. I had to pay
Mhm.
for them. But whatever happened, my point is I saw him keep working
Yeah.
and not giving up.
Yeah.
So when I
Yes.
run into struggle and crisis, I already know I can work through this. It ain't
Right.
gonna last forever. I just got to figure out how to get to the other side. I think that's
Okay.
what you were talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. It's instilled in you the work ethic, the integrity, things of that nature is instilled. You know what I'm saying? Like my it's just built in you. Coming from uh I can see my dad farming with old tractors, and I used to ask, "Hey, why we want to go get a new tractor?" You know what I'm saying? And shit, now I see why we didn't go get a new tractor.
And I know that's important because you all have shared responsibilities.
Right.
I don't know which one of y'all it is, but I know one of y'all is responsible for keeping all the tractors and equipment
Hmm.
up and running. So
Yeah.
go through your brothers and talk about everybody's responsibility.
Well, agent, we'll start with agent. Agent responsibility is pretty much financials, keeping the financials together best he can, and it's a shared out thing. Everything we do is shared, but to be lead on it, agent is lead on financials, insurance, uh, that part of the business.
And
Courtney,
Adrian also went to college and got a degree for business and went out in the business world because he didn't want to work on the farm. And what he found out was whatever he was doing, it wasn't rewarding, it wasn't fulfilling, and he
mhm,
could use his time and talents better serving the family enterprise. I love that about the story. Can you talk
yeah.
about that?
Yeah, so Adrian got his financial degree business. I mean, in finance. He got a full 4 year degree in finance. He left when he graduated college. He went and worked for a loan officer, and I think he had a couple of jobs. But at the same time, he just didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't there. The drive to get up to go to work wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? When then he decided, the agent was one of the first ones Scott decided to come back and tell us all, like, we need to go ahead and do this farming thing. And he's very smart when it comes to finances. You know, you got to pull him in a little bit because he get a little bit ideas here and there, but it's all about innovations,
And
moving
that's why he
forward.
got the biggest smile out of all of y'all. He was so happy to
Yeah,
get out of that corporate world and get back to the farm. He
yeah.
ain't know what to do.
You're right. There you go. And it was a little stress in that, for him, but it's stress in his agriculture business, but it's good stress if I if I could say it. If you're doing something you like and it's stressful, it's not the same as just being stressed out for nothing.
Well, I think what's really important that we talked about was that it is stressful, but it's also rewarding, and you have a whole better quality of life. Not to mention the food sovereignty and food security.
Yeah.
So the land is the number one source of wealth building, but it's also the number one source of food, feeding yourself, food sovereignty, so you don't ever got to worry about being hungry.
Yeah, agree. And we do a lot of row cropping. That's our thing. But our roots started with gardens. Ever since I can remember as a little kid, my auntie's dad, all of them grew a garden. And shit, we had enough food to give away. We gave away more than we ate. So if you could, someone could learn how to grow. And I sit on a board also that dealt with we trying to fix the food desert in our area on the Mississippi Delta. We got some of the richest soils in America, but we also sit on the food desert. Uh, so that's something important also, like you said, is if you
And a
got
lot of
land.
people don't know what food deserts are. Can you talk about the food desert?
I'm probably not the best person to talk about it, but food desert is basically is where you don't have enough food to you don't have enough in your area to grow good food, basically.
Yeah, so basically, it's fresh food
Right.
and fresh sources. Uh,
Hmm.
at my entrepreneurial high school, the community is in the middle of a food desert, and so we
Hmm.
have a 500 square foot container farm that will be able to produce 140 pounds of leafy green vegetables a week. We will be able to produce food for everybody in the community, everybody at the school, and have an impact, somewhat like
Hmm.
what you all have been able to do. And so, for you all to be not just worried about your family, but the community, that's why they honor you at church, brother.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that thinking bigger than yourself in the servant leader model leadership model. Now, Adrian is in charge of finance. Now who's in charge of equipment?
So Bo and Courtney is a dual split on that. They two is the ones that they like doing the mechanical work. At Bo and Courtney, well, which is Willie Jr. and Courtney. Uh, that we'll say a dual split on that. With the maintenance is Courtney and Bo. It's just I couldn't tell you everything. Like that's what Miss Brazil was here. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't explain it all. You just got to jump in and do it. Or see it being done. But the maintenance part, keeping the air filters, keeping the equipment up and running, that's gonna be Bo and Courtney. And then it come back to me. I'm more over the agronomy side of things. That meaning the seeds we're gonna plant, what we're gonna plant them, the chemicals we're gonna use. Uh, the time we're gonna do it, the timing of we're gonna plant and spray to make sure the crop is clean to keep the best yields. That's more of me. So that's how our roles pretty much is on the farm. And I also do a little of the financial side also.
Is your crops irrigated or unirrigated?
So we have some that's irrigated, we have some non-irrigated. The farm this year the farm should be a little over 50% irrigated and 50% still non-irrigated. It should have been a little bit more, but again, we ran through some tough times financially and we can't invest like we wanted to. So into getting it up to par. So we still trying to fight it. If everything go right, we should be about 50% irrigated this year.
That's amazing. And irrigation actually increases your production and your yield.
Yes.
And per investment, what is the return on irrigation, you think?
About 25%.
Do most people understand that, or is that something that you help educate them on?
Uh, okay. So most people in the farming world understand that. Most people outside the farming world don't. And most people outside the farming world don't. Is not educated on none of it. So it's a little challenging to bring them up to speed. But if I just told you 25%, if I'm making $100 and I get 25% more on that $100, that's the difference. That's how I pretty much tell everybody. People could basically come up and understand that a little easier.
And so I look at it from a valuation standpoint, and I have
Hmm.
seen people increase their highest and best use and maximize their return, like just what you said. By they buy, just say they buy something for $100, it
Yeah,
takes $10 to irrigate.
yeah,
Now the property is worth $125,
yeah.
so they get a 15% return on a short term investment, therefore maximizing the value. So
Right.
these are things that we like to speak about in highest and best use analysis and how to get folks to be able to maximize their value. Now, one of the things that I love that you talk about is the community. Talk about what you want to do as the chairperson for the National Black Growers Council. And I was there in December when you got sworn in and gave your Russell Simmons speech. It was good to see you and the brothers. Y'all was all cleaned up. I think me and you got a picture together too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post that when we air the show. But I couldn't be more proud of you and your family. And can you speak on that a little bit for us?
Yeah, yeah. So I was voted by the 11 board members to become chairperson of the National Black Growers Council. I mean, to lead the organization into this next. Our past chairman PJ and Bill was passed before him. They brought stepping stones up to the for the organization. Now that I'm chair, I always said in my speech, I said performance and engagement. You know, it's a lot of guys out there, farmers out there that feel that we don't represent them enough, or we don't engage with them enough. So the smaller farmers, I just want to let them know that I was at 400. I mean 40 acres just back in a while ago. Not too long ago. So I understand about being a small farmer. So my goal is for the farmers that want to become large farmers. I want to get them better access to land, better access to capital, and make a more footprint. Basically, yeah, I think the resources and tools are already there, but now we need to go out in our community and grab them. We need to grab them and bring them to us, and I just want to be engaged with everyone. You know, um, from our white colleagues to our Native Americans. All the way. We got to engage everyone so we could be in the room of every place.
I think that's so exciting and refreshing to hear you say. I've been in this space for a little while now, and sometimes, I mean, I get a warm reception because I'm accepted with my cultural competency when it comes to the valuation aspect, and I'm able to speak and translate. And so, for you to actually to be talking about engaging and bringing people up, because there is such a long level in history of distrust, you are someone that they can trust and confide in. And I think that's extremely important. and your leadership is going to be invaluable. And sometimes I am in these spaces and I see people talking at people as opposed to talking to them. And even when you're talking to them, I believe it's more important that you're listening.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
instead of pontificating, listen to see what exactly it is, what they need, and that's what I heard you talk about in your acceptance speech.
Yeah, yeah. I like to listen. You got two ears for a reason and one mouth for a reason. You listen twice as much as you talk. I was taught. I got slapped a couple times, behind
But
the
that's you and me both. That's one of the main things I'm always talking about. My grandma used to be like, "Boy, did you ever think about why God gave you two ears and one mouth?
head. Yeah.
Sometimes
So
you need to shut up and listen."
yeah, just shut up and listen. You always you won't like me. I don't know every struggle or everything that everyone going through, but if I could listen and get an understanding, then I could be able to help, or we could find a way that I could, put him in place with a build bridge for Dexter Gilbert. Someone who already done had that challenge, and we able to maneuver together better, or it could be something that we both could learn from, or I could learn from him, and now we could go and try to find the situation and try to solve it, or get people who can help us solve it. Just listening is the main thing.
And then you're able to adopt and adapt best practices
Mhm.
and embrace each other.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like everything else, that the farmers I didn't realize were that um, you all get pimped by the brokers. So that's why it's so important to be able to do these cooperatives so you can cut out the middleman and get better margins.
Yeah,
So
yeah, or not just cut them all the way out, but if you know where you stand, they can't pimp you as hard, right? You
yeah,
know what I
exactly.
mean? Right.
And you're able to participate in more of what you are building and developing. Like you said, ain't nobody out there sweating with y'all, putting it all together. So they definitely shouldn't reap
Right.
all of the rewards in that. And the cooperative model gives strength to that, and then being able to be strategic and forecast. And I love what you said about Adrian being the big thought guy, and y'all got to just kind of reel him in and keep him focused. You don't want him to stop with those dreams, but you want to make it a little bit more directional. So
Yeah.
y'all got time to catch up and be able to process. So I feel like you all have the perfect combination, and the trust level. I mean, because you are family, and how you all work together and move together, but also how you all are not just about the Nelsons. You're about the community as a whole.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Self-serving never got no one nowhere. It's just again, it comes from watching. My dad and my mom for sure. It's always about everybody else. If you take care of everybody else, you'll get taken care of at some point. And you could build it. Yeah, you could build better relationships and move forward that way. That's how I look at things. You need to make sure your health you good in some places, but it's not always all about you.
So, what does row? How does row cropping um, transition to the other areas of agriculture? Do you all do any cattle? Do you all do any other thing, or it's just strictly the row cropping?
Strictly right now, it's just strictly row crop. We'll have and I don't mean row. We'll have probably a small garden this year, about 5 acres. Probably a sweet corn and some else, probably a little okra or some, for the feed, fresh food. We'll have some of that. And my son, he raised some chickens for eggs. Not many, about 30 of them. He also show chickens for 4-H. So we want to get more. It's just a lot of work, and we don't have enough time for to do all everything that we need to do. But we strictly 4,000 acres is basically row crop. That's what it's going to be.
Well, sometimes you just got to stay in your lane and specialize, and then maximize that with a laser strategy. And I think that's what you all have been doing. And then because you have been laser focused, everything grows outside of that.
Hmm.
So as opposed to trying to do several different things and not being able necessarily to master to anything.
Right.
Um, I love what you talked about as far as moving the needle forward for other folks that want to get into farming or want to be able to grow. How do you reach people? What mechanism are you using in order to do that? Because you still got to work and run the farm.
Yeah. So word of mouth. Just people gravitate to it. And that's not in no boastful way or nothing. Like, um, you might tell someone tomorrow, hey, call Willis Nelson. And my phone is always open. You know, people call me, text me. I get numbers from people. I'm like, who the hell is this texting me? Excuse me.
But
Who
but
is texting
you
me?
you always get back to everybody and and you get back relatively quickly too. I mean, it
Yeah.
ain't no bull around. You getting right to the point. Yeah, this Willis. What how can I help you?
Yeah. Just being open. I'm just an open book. But but the National Black Growers Council is a way that we trying to reach more people, and especially through our model farm field days. Um, I think last year we had a little over. I don't want to lie. I think it was. I know at our field day we had roughly 300 people there, just teaching them about farming and what to look for on our farms.
Tell us about the National Black Growers Council and how it came about, and then talk about the farm days and what do they mean and what they do and where they're located.
Okay, so I'm not a historian, but I could give I could
Okay,
give you
okay,
that
all right.
good. So it came about Dr. Goldman and Bill Bridgeford, Dexter, Gilbert, P.J. Haney, Hopper Armstrong, Melvin Crum, Bobby Holmes, um, Dr. Pearlie Reed, all of them came together and they saw a need that black farmers was getting left out on some major uh, key parts of agriculture, meaning what new varieties was coming out, what new chemistry was coming out, all that. And, we still had the USDA part that they was dealing with, not being involved with that. So they came together and they met at Monsanto, some, I think in 2010 or 2009, 2008, somewhere back in there, they met at Monsanto and said, hey, and then they just did a black, Monsanto hosted them. And then they had that hosting. They said, hey, man, how about we start an organization for to help all of us come together? And that's what they did. And fast forward, now we do field days. And the mission is the mission is to I'm lost on that right now. I come back to. I was taking on the mission and vision, but it's basically for the help farmers to be productive, sustainable, and profitability, uh, and to increase all three of them. And that's what they've been doing with the model farm field days. We show the new chemistry that's out. We show the new technology of all crops or whatever in USDA programs, and we put on a day show. And we had a reception the night before, so all of us could come together and mingle as farmers or in the community, mingle, and we bounce ideas off each other and have conversations. And then the next day we go out to the farm and they see what the cotton seeds, what the cotton crop look like, what the corn, rice, what's good, what's not, the struggles of this and what's the benefit of this and what's not working. Them the major things that we do at the field days, and we'll have a speaker here or there to talk about some other things that's going on in the agricultural community also.
I think that's extremely important and very impactful. I know you mentioned Dr. Goldman. I know you hold him in high esteem. Can you tell everybody who Dr. Goldman is?
Oh, my version of yeah.
Well, I mean, I know what he means to you.
Yeah.
He's a former executive at the USDA, and he's a farmer out of Arkansas. Just like you, he's extremely humble and don't
Yeah.
like to talk about himself either. But I know how impactful and instrumental he's been in you all's growth and development.
Yeah. Dr. Goldman, he's a mentor. Just someone I know him as Dr. Goldman, Dwayne Dr. Goldman. Some might I'm on the interview. He was appointed in the last administration about Vilsack to be direct. He reported directly to him for underdeserved farmers, basically black farmers and minority farmers, basically, and all minorities, uh, Asian, Native Americans, all of us, all the minorities, and so he's played a big. Before he went there, he was our executive director at the National Black Growers Council. So he's done a big role for us all around. I I can't. I just don't adopt the Goldman. That's basically how I put it.
I understand. I know him the same way. So grateful for his leadership and your vision and your brothers and what you all are doing. What before we let you go, what is the biggest thing you want to accomplish in your term as chair for the National Black Growers Council?
Uh, for me, I don't. The biggest thing I want to accomplish as a whole for black growers is to increase our land, to increase the footprint of land we own. That's the number one thing to me, and to increase more. So right now, hold on, that's my son. If you hear him, hold on, just Zion. Then I tell you I'm on the interview. All right, go back in the room. Um,
Now Zion, did you get that from Lauren Hill?
no. No. It's some history behind that. I'll tell you about it over a beer.
Okay,
Well, I don't drink beer, but I'll tell you over a whiskey.
okay.
Yeah, but so I think I have a lot of besides engagement and performance. That's gonna be I want to engage with the farmers and them to judge the performance on the impactful things that we do. We already do a lot of impactful things, but I think it's gonna be something that we could take up a notch. So, but if at the end of my 4-year term or whatever, instead of right now, I think we have about 500 members that's row crop farmers. I want to increase that number at least triple into the membership.
Where is you all's footprint?
Meaning
The,
the
the
national.
largest number of concentration of farmers is it in the Black Belt or is it nationwide?
It's in the Black Belt, but basically in the Delta.
Okay, okay.
That's where most of our farmers are at. Then we have a lot over in the Carolinas. I think we just got we lost that engagement with them. They got pretty much isolated again, and that's the problem. We get isolated from each other. Uh, Once we come back together, we'll be.
How do you engage and prevent the isolation, making sure everybody gets the information and the ability of the cooperative to pull all the resources together?
First thing, you got to make yourself available.
Well, you do a good job of that. So
Yeah,
that's one down. So you well on your way with that one.
right. So now, and the next step is reaching out your hand, letting them know you're here.
Okay.
And opportunities pop up, just go visit it. That's what I want to do, like a miniature farm to it, but I just ain't. I got to find the time to do it. But I want to go visit, you know, Joe Blow who got 20 acres over here. I want to go visit him, or I want to visit everyone that I can visit, and then it's a word of mouth thing. You're like, oh, these guys is really about real business. I'm gonna go.
And I think once people find out that you care about them
Mhm.
and it's genuine and sincere, folks will gravitate to you. I know whenever we're at the conferences, I got to pick a number and get in line. It's always you always make time for me, but I got to get in line. It might be short. I'm gonna get back to you in a little bit when I can. But I just always appreciate you and your brothers and the vision that you all share and the energy. The energy around you all is absolutely amazing. And I just want to encourage you to keep pushing forward and doing what you're doing. And I wanted to congratulate you and celebrate you. And I think that National Black Chorus couldn't have made a better choice for their future.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think when people get a chance to see this documentary, they'll learn a lot about us.
So when
They'll
is the documentary coming out? Because already we can't get to you at the conferences. Now I'm gonna have to get a pre sign, autograph before you really blow up and go. Now you're gonna be the Hollywood farmer.
no, you know better than that. You know better than that. But the documentary should be out this fall. I think this spring it'll be entered into a festival. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, Miss Brazil and Hayes might get really pissed off at me, but I'm giving you the inside scoop. Yeah, so it should be in a festival this spring. But they just finishing up some last minute edits. Miss Brazil, if you know her, she like her work to be, 100 the
That's
best.
why she Queen Sugar.
Right, right. So it'll be the best. And then this fall, she told me this fall that we should know where it's gonna land. And then you could come to the annual meeting and pretty much watch it. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If she,
I want to be at the premiere. I want to be on the red carpet.
you got to be 6 foot tall to be there.
I'm close when I put on my cowboy boots.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. Hey, we'll try to work something out. Yeah, we'll try to work something out. You can have my spot. I don't like too much attention. So,
Well, anyway, Willis, I really appreciate you coming on to the show. And those of you all out there, please like, share, and subscribe. And now you all do tours at the farm?
Yeah, we do private tours.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna get the private tour, and we still gonna work on getting some training down there in Louisiana to go visit them damn Nelson brothers. Man, y'all gonna have to start doing tours after the movie come out.
No,
You gotta
man.
maximize all revenue streams, brother. That's
Yeah,
that irrigation money you leaving on the table.
yeah, man. But nah, man. I like things to be genuine. I think I wouldn't want to make money off showing somebody what a farm look like. Just my
Okay.
thoughts. Just my thoughts.
But I mean,
I
it's an experience,
right.
It's
Well,
one experience that is,
come
you know, that's
experience it, but
yeah,
you
that's
ain't
that's,
got.
that's
I
the
ain't got
smart
to
thing to
charge
do.
you to experience it though. Just come on down if you genuinely want to see. There's other people out there that make money off of it, but if you come here, you're gonna get the real deal. You're gonna get
You're gonna have to pick up a shovel and a pick.
there you go. Shit, wear your boots.
Well, again, thank you for taking time out on your Sunday afternoon to record with us. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you soon. I know we just missed each other because of the ice storm, and we
Yeah,
had to cancel the event in Alabama last month. But looking forward to seeing you when we start touring again. And please give my regards to your brothers.
I will. All right, thank you, Dad.
All right, thanks.